Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know where we've been. And we know what we're knowing, but we can't say what we've seen. And we're not little children, and we know what we want, and the future is certain. Give us time to work it out.
This is a hard job on many different levels. And the rewards are, sometimes these transparent things to a lot of people.
It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, I think.
We have to be able to protect ourselves and our brother and sister countries. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the Navy, that's the whole purpose of the military, is to provide protection for our freedoms. If we're not around and something happens, what are we good for? What are we here for?
I guess I basically did this to put it on my resume, and now that it's on my resume, I'm ready to move on.
Join the Navy, see the world, give me a break. You play the game, you do your time, you get what you can out of the Navy.
I've changed a lot since I've been in, a lot. Like, I've just grown more independent, more, I don't want to say aggressive, but more defensive. Always kind of like, well, why are they asking? What do they want? What are they going to do?
I definitely ain't moving back in with my mother. Mom, I love you, but it ain't happening.
The Navy's been a roller coaster ride. It's had its ups and downs, and more downs than not.
I should have tried a little bit harder in high school, but I didn't. Decided to come to the Navy, but it's all working out good. Get a nice paycheck every 1st and 15th. Can't complain.
I was up here for last cruise where it was a big deal. Now I think we're kind of out here just showing support, but we're really not doing that much now.
I guess we're grateful that we don't have such a big part in the war. That might sound cowardly, but hey, it works for me.
I'll never regret doing this. This is my 3rd deployment, and I love it. I love what I do.
We're on a road to nowhere. We're on a road to nowhere. We're on a road to nowhere.
Okay, this is our last flight day in the Gulf. By this time tomorrow night, we'll be in the Straits of Hormuz and headed out into the Gulf of Oman and into the North Arabian Sea. It's important to note that we have a lot of cruise left in front of us. This is the close of one chapter, I'll admit, the close of a hard one. But we're not done until we're done.
Wrap the waist, Mecca ready, Dak. Lens on. I feel like it's time to go the other direction. We've been here for 70 days. It's hot. 413 on the bow.
Yes, this is my last flight over Iraq. Where am I going today? Going up to Mosul again, same as yesterday. That's where we're scheduled to go. We can change. Last day.
Ordnance drop 0. But that wasn't the mission when we came here. Have there been bombs dropped while we were here? Yes. Are we frustrated that it was not off of one of our airplanes? That's very frustrating to me, and part of me thinks it's wrong. I think there's a lot of bugs that need to be worked through in the chain to get to get the ability to clear people for weapons release at a level where it's usable and not to where it hinders the operations, there's some serious issues.
What's frustrating me is that the Army doesn't really, in my opinion, understand how to use us. I don't know, do you think that's fair to say?
I think it's just, I don't know. No, I wouldn't agree, but because I think it's hard to use this right now. If we start using some of our weapons, it's not the level of where they're operating. The targets that they're chasing are people that quickly disappear into a crowd of friendly people and kids. We're still evolving to today's kind of warfare.
I think so, and I actually see fairly eye to eye. I mean, my biggest feeling is that the carrier is not an asset that is needed or necessary, I believe, in the situation we are currently in.
Hey guys, pull your pants up. You get your shirt tucked in. Tighten your belt up. Okay? How we doing?
Doing pretty good, Master Chief.
All right, we don't roll like that. Go ahead and handle that, all right? That's not the way we swab decks in the Navy. All right? The only thing we're doing is putting stuff down on the deck right here and swabbing it up. That's not cleaning. Hey, guy. Hey, put the uniform on there. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. Both of you got your head back in the game there, shipmate?
I do, Master Chief.
You sure?
I'm positive.
All right. Good morning. How you doing? All right, now, how we doing? My name is Command Master Chief Christopher Lawrence Penton. There's 2,900 enlisted sailors on board, and I'm the senior enlisted of the 2,900. Hey, what's that language? What's that all about? You got highs and lows throughout the deployment, and right now we're sky high because we start our transit home today. All right, we got a lot of guys standing around. What's going on, that shit, mate? What's going on? Who's supervising?
I am, Master.
So what are you guys doing?
Cleaning up right there.
Come on, come on. Don't even try it, you know. The excitement is starting to build up, but at the same time, we have to make sure that all the sailors on board get the job done. Hey, guy, we'll be out here. So even though we start our transit home, we got to keep good order and discipline. Basic math. When does 1 + 1 = 45? When? Anybody want to take a guess at it? Here it is. When one knucklehead go out with another knucklehead and get themselves in trouble. Okay? One knucklehead plus one knucklehead = 45. Everybody know what 45 is? That's restriction, that's for duty. So 1 + 1 = 45. You got two knuckleheads hanging out together. All right? I learned a long time ago, if you're too serious, people really don't listen to you. Or if you a clown, people really don't listen to you. But if you find that medium, then your point gets over a lot quicker, I think. So I just found that balance a long time ago, not to be too far to the left or to the right. Matter of fact, I found that balance about life.
Did anybody drop? You?
No.
You didn't?
They. We did nothing.
Did you drop?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Drilling circles in the sky.
I thought for sure somebody would drop. No. I don't think dropping a bomb in anger would any more or any less validate my career.
All right, so there's the target.
I mean, you know, life is timing, and my timing has been such that when I show up, peace breaks out, which, you know, in some respects is a good thing.
Cruise, almost over. It's not over yet. It ain't over till we get home. But I want to say, you know, appreciate the great hard work you did on deployment. You know, we didn't drop any bombs, we didn't freaking kill any people, didn't shoot anyone, didn't blow anything up or break any shit. But, you know, you guys are ready. You were called upon to do a job, do a mission, and you did it with pride, and you did it with professionalism.
Our aircraft we weren't the weapon of choice for that mission.
We fail only when we can't launch that aircraft off the end of the flight deck. That's when we fail. Otherwise, our mission is successful.
I feel it's doing good. I mean, I already know we've helped
at least 8 Iraqis, personally.
I think it's stupid. Nobody asked us to come over here and help.
I don't agree with a lot of shit we do either, but it's not my job to agree or disagree. It's my job to follow the orders and ensure that my Marines are taken care of.
If you don't remember anything else about the brief, cruise is not over. Cruise is not over. I kind of use the football analogy. You know, this is the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. We're going to go at it with the same enthusiasm in the last quarter of deployment that we went at it in the 1st quarter of deployment. So we just need to be ready all the time.
Every day, the routine is the same. And what we need to avoid is the complacency of, I just did this yesterday, I'm doing it again today, because when we start getting complacent, that's when we leave ourselves open to mishap. So it's kind of keeping guys interested in what they're doing so that they don't get to that point. You know, one slip up can be catastrophe.
Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
Gonna set 440 clear deck.
That's good. With a 30 knot small roll. Easy with the power, easy with it, easy with it, easy with it. Look at this guy, look at this guy. Right? Off the deck.
There you go. All right, go to your box, reset it.
He's not going to make it. No chance, Patrick, no chance. Let's bring that guy up here, please. Let's get the red shirt somehow and get him up here. Wow.
There you go. All right, go to your box, reset it.
Unbelievable.
Basically, across the LA, the jet was about 4 seconds to touchdown. So we saw the video, you see him run from the left side of the screen, you see the jet coming down in the background with the tail hook on final approach.
I wasn't even thinking about stopping. I just want to keep going. You know, I knew if I stopped, I would have been gone.
We pulled out of the Gulf, and then everybody drops their guard. They're like, we're on the way home now, and then it takes 2 incidents where someone almost gets killed, and everyone opens their eyes again. We're on the way home, but we still got a month to go. You don't want to lose anyone in that last month. That would suck.
So, Dave, come to practice?
Being on the ship, you need to relax. Everybody has their own stress release. And me, I like salsa dancing. My mom always told me if you ever want to meet a woman, learn how to dance. So I learned how to country dance with my best friend in high school. In his bedroom, he was a girl, I was a guy. We went to Billy Bob's that night, and out of the 3 steps that I knew, I tried to dance, and it just sort of carried on from there. But I met my wife at Cafe Sevilla, and I saw her and her best friend Gabrielle salsa dancing. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I need to learn. And then I joined the dance group, Salsa Suave. That was a dance group my wife was involved with. Not that I planned that, but it worked out well.
I remember the first time I seen him, I mean, I didn't know it was him. I didn't know a little chubby white boy could do some of those moves that he was doing.
I like to call him Twinkle Toes because he just spins around almost like a Tasmanian devil, just going all about it. It's always a nice sight to see because he's a good dancer. You're just not used to seeing people of his build twirling around like that.
There are moves that I do with my wife and I only do with my wife, just because they're that intimate. Dancing with Campos, we get tons of comments about you guys dating, you guys together. I'm like, she's married, I'm married. I'm like, that is the last thing that I even want to think.
Randy just enjoys dancing, but the perception out here on the ship is very bad. I mean, you could have be friends with someone forever. As soon as they see you talking or dancing or something, uh-oh, here goes the rumor mill.
Stand by for word from commanding officer.
Good evening, members of Air Wing 11. Okay, in about an hour and 20 minutes or so, we're going to turn the corner at the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz. So let's keep everybody's head on a swivel and take care of business tonight, and we'll get alongside tomorrow. That is all.
Tomorrow is our crossing the line ceremony where we navigate below the equator. Personnel aboard ships that have done that before are considered shellbacks. Personnel that haven't, like some of these young Marines over here, are considered polywogs.
The infamous WOG Day or crossing the line, it's a ceremony that they've been doing for a long time. All the people who've done it before will get together and, you know, kind of pick on the people who have it and call them WOGs, WOG Day.
The fact of the matter is, several years ago, the crossing the line ceremony was a pretty physical thing. It was an initiation. It was an 8-hour whacking if you got right down to it, and that's not the case anymore.
We cannot have anything that can be construed as hazing. Okay, it's not going to happen. We can't have it happen. You guys understand that? It's just too sensitive.
It's like boot camp. Back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they beat the shit out of them. They don't have to touch them nowadays, and you can still break an individual.
There is 3 officially sanctioned activities: the talent show, the breakfast, and the ceremony in Hangar Bay 2 and 3, and that's it.
It is a rite of passage, so let's keep in mind what the rules are and keep in mind the spirit of the event. We have out there. Okay, then how many shell bags do we have out there? This contest is going to work just like the gong show, and we will encourage your vote and participation as we make a decision on whether the gong should ring. Hard, everybody ready? So when your department heads man this stage. Sit right back in your hero town. That's it for the show tonight. Looking forward to a great day tomorrow. And we'll see you out there. And taps means taps, okay? No shenanigans between taps and reveille. That's it. Have a good night.
Crossing the line ceremony, it's not as fun as it used to be. There's a lot of new rules that apply now that we didn't have before when I went through. I feel like they used to be better than what they are right now.
heard of people getting like whipped, like fire hoses, like cut off pieces, and they'd dip them in the salt water or something in the ocean and then let them dry, and then people get hit with that. And of course they can't do that anymore, but it's because we got a bunch of crybabies and they had to ruin it for everybody.
There you go. Salsa wog at your service. And remember, your mom's a shellback.
Get dressed. Get dressed. In fact, why don't you get on your face right now and give me 20? 3, 7, 1. Why are you moving so slow? 1, 2, 3, 10. Do you need help? Yes.
Woo! Why are you looking at me? Shimmy!
Over here, Wong!
You gotta knock who out? Hit it! Push up!
You are nothing but a lowly pollywog. You will not be physically abused or inappropriately touched during the ceremony. Does everybody understand? You will not be physically abused or inappropriately touched. From the swag ones! Go, go, go!
You will not be inappropriately touched. You need to go.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Why do you want to be a showback?
Because I'm worthy of it!
No, you're not! Go get clenched, Wong!
Sir, Brock, point of order, sir.
Randy R. Brock, I do appoint this Marine a gunnery sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. Signed, M.W. Hagee, Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Gunny Freed.
Now, you remain a staff NCO, but there becomes a lot more responsibility by putting these things on. You've been mentoring a lot of our NCOs, sergeants, corporals, and you've been mentoring a bunch of our staff NCOs too. You've been doing an outstanding job. I couldn't ask for anything better. There's nobody more truly deserving of this. Carry on that tradition. Continue to mentor not only our NCOs, but our staff NCOs, and take care of the rest of your Marines too. All right, sir. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir. Gunnery Sergeant Brock, the floor is yours.
Thanks, sir. At ease, please. Real quick, a lot of hard work from my guys. A lot of mentoring and guidance from my senior staff NCOs and officers. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone being here for me. Let's just hope I keep doing what I'm doing and keep training the guys that I'm training. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Rock.
My Nimitz family, this is your Air Wing Chaplain, Brian Jacobson. Lord, it is nights like tonight that we remember our families at home and our friends, and we ask you to watch over them and keep them also with safety. And remember, don't worry about biting off more than you can chew. Your mouth is probably a whole lot bigger than you think.
Taps, taps. Lights out. All hands turn into your own bunks. Maintain silence about the decks. Taps.
We're heading down to Australia. The sea's pretty good size, good swells. I think the deck's all the way up to 30 plus feet.
I haven't seen pitching decks like this since maybe 1985, 20 years ago in the North Atlantic, and had not seen the deck move quite this much.
You would think that 5 months into cruise that we would be pretty proficient. I think we are, but you know, here we're out doing pitching deck. Do I agree with it or disagree? It's not for me to say. It's probably a little bit beyond where we needed to be.
Taking off and landing on an aircraft carrier is, from a pilot standpoint, is a perishable skill. We've learned over the years that a certain amount of practice in certain conditions is required to maintain the capability to do that professionally and well.
This is absolutely more dangerous than it was actually flying missions in the Gulf.
Go get him.
We got lucky in the Gulf. The seas are pretty calm. But out here, pitching decks, this is scarier. You still gotta come back and land on the boat.
This is a landing area. You know, it normally looks about like that. All of a sudden you're kind of seeing it like this and then seeing it like that. So you have to do all your normal procedures, but now you add to it the visual perception here that is changing, and you can't decide if it's your mind or the boat. That's why it's such a challenge.
Your brain, when you come aboard, you kind of start to think the runway is a fixed object. That's what you reference things on, where it's not a fixed object and it's actually moving. It'll kill you in a second. You know, you won't be the first one to fly into the water behind the ship. Or to hit the back of the ship, or miss the whole landing area, or do a long bolter and end up in the water. It's a dangerous job.
Strap the waist, make a ready deck. Paddles, lenses on, you have control, 3.5 degree glide slope, targeting 3 wire. Stand by to recover aircraft.
Yeah.
What a paddles does is we go up onto the back of the ship, and we're there in case the pilots need us to help them land their aircraft. For us on the platform, we have simply the plat camera. We have a set of crosshairs on there where the plane should be, right in the middle of those crosshairs.
27 right up off 52.
We have the radios, we talk to the pilots, we give them more information than they could receive from the ship, basically to help them get aboard.
Yes, hello, Kathy. Hi, Paddles.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you? Happy case 3.
Oh, yeah, case 3.
Man, the Hummer is going to come first.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Easy with it, easy with it, easy with it, easy with it.
when you're coming aboard, you're aiming for that third wire and the OK pass. When you don't hit a wire at all, if you put in a little bit too much power there at the end and you touch down past the wires and have to go back around again, it's called a bolter.
Just watching. I got some pilots that I worry about. Because, you know, the first thing, you don't want to lose anybody, and number two, the airplanes are pretty expensive and it's tax dollars. You know, if they go to the bottom of the ocean, there's not a whole lot you can do with them.
Your 10? Okay. If he misses, we'll
Wag him now.
He's looking pretty good though.
Easy with it.
Till he's climbing now. He's out of the... Keep the hawk on him means we need to keep the tanker on him to watch him, because if he misses again, he's going to have to be tanked for sure.
203 around ball 5.5. Roger ball, 28 knots mobilus.
Here we go, see if he lands.
He won't miss. Chick him on, chick him on, chick him on.
He even did the last time. And not by a little either. He about hooked it.
Look at him now. Beautiful. Symmetrical, beautiful.
No, now he's chasing.
No, he's in there. Look at that. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Down.
Down. See ya.
Out of there.
Keep the hawk on him.
Keep the hawk on him, for sure. Yes, sir.
He'll definitely be trick or treat for 2.5.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Trick or treat 2.5.
He's going in front of 101.
Trick or treat means that, you know, it's like going door to door, trick or treat, and then he's going to give him 2,500 pounds of gas.
We cannot afford to have an aircraft that's starved for fuel. The Nimitz is 700 miles away from the nearest divert field. No one was going to make it 700 miles.
It's simply a different feeling when you know there's no divert available. There's no safety net out and around the aircraft carrier that you can go to if you have some emergency with your airplane. You have to land back on this ship.
Come left steer course 112 degrees.
Come left steer course 112 degrees aye.
The choices are either to land on the ship or jump out alongside the ship. I'm uncomfortable with the conditions, so we decided to scrub the remaining night events, but we still had aircraft we need to recover in the dark.
No matter how long you do this business, you never get used to the nighttime. At night, your visual is not as accurate as it is in the daytime. So you can get vertigo. You know, they always tell people to respect nature. Respect the sea, never turn your back on the ocean. I mean, all the little things that you learn. It's the same thing, you better respect the night.
That's where it gets dangerous. You really got to keep your head up because there's not a lot of lights on up there for us. You got to do everything in the dark. Let's go.
When we've got 12 airplanes airborne, and we're going to have to launch 3 tankers to put some extra gas in the air in case guys have trouble getting aboard. The problem with doing that, though, is we also have to land those airplanes. So the more people you put in the skies, the more planes you have to land.
One of my jobs this evening is to be a recovery tanker for the jets coming down, and I'm feeling like basically this is crazy, and what's the point of doing all this? When I think I'm going to go, the deck is down, so they actually sit there and wait for another 5 or 6 seconds so they don't shoot you into the water, more or less. When it comes to pitching deck, I would say that I am more of a novice, or at least my experience has been limited.
and I know enough to know that the conditions were starting to get extreme would be a fair way to characterize them.
Look at that. That was like
Huh?
I didn't know a big rig like this could move like this.
07, Mike Final Bearing 175, you're inside a Hornet at 8 miles.
Having been around for a little while, if I really don't want to be out there, then I don't want my brand new people out there. So Cone, Lieutenant Dietrich, was getting ready to fly one of the tankers, so we had gas for that recovery. It's her first cruise. We had not done a lot of pitching deck. I told maintenance that I was taking it, and they raided up to the roof and told her, hey, just, stand by. And I said, you don't understand it now, but in about 20 minutes when people start trying to land on this, you're going to realize why I'm getting in this jet for you.
Only if you're lucky.
Commander 4.4. 207 right after pattern adjustment. Power back on. Power. Switch power.
Jello. He's gone, Jello.
Did you guys keep 113? We kept it. We kept it.
5.5.
After the 7th guy in a row bolted, I wonder how many tankers I can launch and how long this goes before we start getting some people aboard and recovered.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bolters or wave offs so far.
When the ship gets to side rolling, it makes your instruments kind of do funny things in the cockpit. So you're just kind of coming down and you're kind of blinking your eyes, trying to make sure you're on center line.
Yeah, see, look at it.
Oh, power!
Power.
Shit.
Down though.
Sit down.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, holy cow, I'm a little high. And next thing you know, and so now you're in the bolter wave-off pattern, and you're looking at all these other airplanes that are in the bolter wave-off pattern with you.
503, flight above glide path, flight right of course, 1.5 miles.
That posse. Oh man, stay with it.
503 on glide path, flight left.
Keep the power on.
Oh, it's steady. It's steady. It's steady. Bingo on the ball.
That's good.
Seriously, that was the first time I ever really felt like I am about to hit the back of the ship. I am about to smash into the back of the ship and go into a million pieces.
Little power to catch it. Little power.
So, you're bringing the power off, and I'm like, that's all I'm giving you, man.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, shit. I don't know.
Yes.
He's in there.
Oh, we got a couple more.
It was just I've never breathed so fast and so hard in my life. It was just unbelievable. I was shaking. God. It was definitely one of the most stressful experiences I've ever had.
You want to look at ISIS of all
Did you watch the deck?
Dude,
All I know is I was in close and they're like, little power. I looked down and I saw the back of the ship above me. And I was like, ah!
There's been times it looks like guys are probably looking down on the deck and no shit, the deck just comes up and catches them and they trap.
I could just hear paddles like, they gave me the powers, like getting power, and all of a sudden it just like, from the deck, like being above me, it just goes, woo! And I was like, hey everybody down there, how y'all doing? I'm gonna stay up here. It's safe up here.
I need a drink.
No, I'm just shaking still.
We're almost done.
Jar Jar's going around. The deck's steady at a mile. Jar Jar's going around.
Here we go. Out of there.
Wave off, wave off.
Now I'm starting to get pretty nervous, realizing that, hey, the deck, this is no joke, and the deck is everywhere.
Get in here.
Look, there's that.
Come up a little.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, he's good. He's good. He goes around.
Hook skip.
The deck was coming up, he was coming down, and he hit so hard that he bounced over all of the wires. So he skipped the 2, 3, and the 4-way.
Next thing I knew, I was getting airborne again, and that's when I started becoming very anxious, thinking to myself, well, okay, looking at my gas, hey, I've got about two more tries here, and then they're gonna start thinking about giving me some gas, and I don't want to be that guy. I'd like to just get aboard quietly and have my moment of sheer terror, and then go find somewhere just to have an aneurysm and call it a day.
102, dirty up. 102, get 30.
Oh boy, yeah. Settling out. It's settling out. Show him a little high.
He's in there. Oh!
Good job, Jojo. Thanks, Pedals.
You gonna send your mojo to Skipper Fravor?
Man, he don't need it.
Huh?
He don't need
He
it.
don't need any mojo.
102, right a ball. 75 auto.
I always get an eerie feeling when I'm the last guy on board. I'll tell you that.
102 on course, 5 miles. 102.
There's no one to save you. There's no gas airborne. You got to do what you need to do to get on deck.
Look at that.
102.
Deck pitching, he stays right.
That's just like,
Sex, what do you guys think?
If he goes around one time, it's going to be in his head and he's going to be pissed off, and it's going to affect his next approach. It's going to take an approach.
No, because he's going to get aboard. He's going to be
no,
get aboard on the next one.
He's going around twice.
I think I'm gonna be the pessimist for the whole ready room here. I don't think he's getting aboard.
I don't think so either.
Starting the Dutch roll, dude. That's all he's doing. Just wait.
No, he's
It's going to continue to get worse.
I'm telling you, he's going around. He's going around.
Look at
He's going around. He's going around.
Already out of sync.
No, it's gonna settle out.
Right there.
I'm a D. It's gonna settle out.
No, I don't think so. I've been watching this
He's going around.
7 right a ball, 5-2. Roger ball, work at 39.
I've been watching this.
He's going around. I got more like
I don't know
him.
what to do with the ball. Look at that. Oh, steadied out. Yacht.
Oh shit! He's gonna get aboard. Oh, rock steady.
Sit around, paddles. Sit around. There's the low. That's right. Show the low.
Glad to be here.
You're right.
I told you, Tom.
That was good. Everyone, that was a stellar performance.
That was not my first pitching deck experience, but it was my last. It's something that I really like to do, and the thought of not doing it anymore, I guess slightly relieved, but slightly depressing.
All right, man. Hey, thank you very much. You guys have a good night, all right? You too. Skipper. Oh, wait.
Let's go.
Look out for National Geographic wildlife at its savage best. Wild Wednesday, every Wednesday on the National Geographic Channel.
Coming up next on Carrier.
I have faith and trust in our government and that they're sending me into harm's way with valid reasons.
Start thinking about all the different religious faiths on board the Nimitz. It's spectacular.
Everyone's talking about how big Australia is going to be, saying it's going to be biblical.
The Bible says they drip with honey. Their words are slick with oil, but they're poison.
It feels like a huge boulder. It's just taken off my chest.
So I was like, hold up, do you even know who this is? And she said, no. I will await your return, like that.
I will await your return.
I will await your return.